What if everything we believe might not be what it seems? For millennia, humanity has looked to the heavens, searching for answers, comfort, and meaning. Some find these in faith, a profound connection to a divine presence that guides their lives and offers solace in times of uncertainty. Others, however, look at the same sky and see only the vast, silent emptiness of space. They find no proof, no divine whispers, only the elegant laws of physics and the beautiful, indifferent dance of cosmic dust. And then there are those who stand somewhere in between, suspended in a state of honest uncertainty, simply admitting they just don't know. This isn't just a debate about gods, it's a story about the human search for meaning itself, a journey that takes many paths but starts from the same fundamental questions. From our earliest days, humans have been meaning-making creatures. Long before written history, our ancestors gathered around fires, gazing at the same stars we see today, and wondered. They saw power in the storm, life in the changing seasons, and mystery in the cycle of birth and death. To make sense of it all, they created stories, rituals, and gods. Across every continent and through countless centuries, this impulse took shape. We see it in ancient cave paintings depicting spiritual hunts, in the ruins of primitive temples built to honor unseen forces, and in the sacred narratives passed down through generations. The sociologist Emile Durkheim suggested that these early forms of religion weren't just about explaining the unknown. He believed that they were reflections of society itself, the gods, the spirits, the sacred totems. They were powerful symbols of the community's shared values, its collective hopes, and the very bonds that held it together. Religion, in this view, was the glue of early human society, a way to create cohesion and a shared sense of purpose in a world that often felt chaotic and unpredictable. But as human thought evolved, so did our questions. The rise of reason and scientific inquiry brought forth a new perspective, one that demanded evidence and logical consistency. This is the lens of the atheist. For an atheist, the core question is simple. Where is the proof in a world that can be explained by natural laws, from the formation of galaxies to the evolution of life? The need for a divine creator seems to diminish. Atheists often argue that life is a finite, precious, and singular experience. There is no promise of an afterlife, no eternal reward or punishment. Therefore, meaning is not something handed down from on high. It is something we create for ourselves, right here and now. The biologist Richard Dawkins famously described religious belief not as a divine truth, but as a meme, a powerful cultural idea that spreads from mind to mind. It survives and replicates not because it's true, but because it has a profound influence on human behavior, promising comfort, community, or a simple framework for a complex world. From this viewpoint, morality, purpose, and ethical principles don't need a divine author. They are the products of human empathy, reason, and our shared need to live together harmoniously. Standing on different ground is the agnostic. The agnostic perspective is not a denial of gods, but a suspension of judgment. While the atheist might say, "I do not believe," the agnostic says, "I do not know, and perhaps I cannot know." It's an approach rooted in intellectual humility. Think of someone staring up at the infinite expanse of the night sky, overwhelmed by its sheer scale and complexity. Is there something beyond what we can observe? A consciousness, a force, a creator? The agnostic acknowledges the possibility, but refuses to make a definitive claim without sufficient evidence. This isn't a position of indifference, it's one of active curiosity and intellectual honesty. It's about being comfortable with mystery, accepting the limits of human knowledge without feeling the need to fill the gaps with either faith or absolute disbelief. For the agnostic, the universe is a grand, open question, and embracing that uncertainty is a form of wisdom in itself. It is a path of perpetual inquiry, where the journey of questioning is more important than arriving at a final, certain answer. At first glance, atheism and agnosticism might seem worlds apart. One asserts a lack of belief, the other a lack of knowledge. Yet if we look closer, we find a surprising amount of common ground. Both perspectives are built on a foundation of critical thinking, questioning, and a deep respect for evidence and reason. They encourage individuals to explore life at its biggest mysteries without relying solely on ancient doctrines or unquestioned faith. Both atheists and agnostics engage in a process of personal reflection, observing the world around them and drawing their own conclusions. From these secular standpoints, a profound sense of wonder, a strong ethical compass, and a deep appreciation for life can still emerge, entirely independent of religious belief. The beauty of a sunset, the love for one's family, the drive to create a better world. These experiences are not exclusive to the faithful. They are universal human experiences, accessible to all, regardless of what they believe about the cosmos. Meaning, in this context, is discovered through observation, empathy, and our connection to the natural world and each other. Even for those who don't believe, it's impossible to deny the immense influence of religion on our world. It's woven into the fabric of our societies, shaping our laws, our art, our calendars, and our moral codes. Thinkers like Sigmund Freud, Karl Marx, and Emil Durkheim, while all non-believers themselves, dedicated much of their work to understanding religion as a powerful human phenomenon. Freud saw it as a form of wish fulfillment, a comforting illusion to protect us from the harsh realities of life and the terror of death. Durkheim, as we mentioned, viewed it as a source of social cohesion, uniting people under a shared set of beliefs and rituals that reinforce community identity. Marx, more critically, saw it as a tool of social control, an opiate of the masses that numbed the pain of oppression and discouraged people from fighting for change in this life by promising rewards in the next. Whether seen as a source of comfort, a pillar of community, or a mechanism of power, these thinkers agreed that religion is a profoundly human creation that serves deep-seated psychological and social needs. For centuries, religion offered explanations for the natural world. Lightning was the wrath of a god, disease was a divine punishment, and the stars were a map of destiny. But then came science, offering a new way of understanding reality. Through observation, experimentation, and the rigorous testing of hypotheses, science began to explain these phenomena through natural processes. We learned about electricity, germs, and astrophysics. With each discovery, the explanatory power of religion seemed to shrink. Yet belief persists, and in many parts of the world, it is as strong as ever. Why? Because religion has never been just about explanation. It's about meaning. Science is brilliant at telling us how the universe works, how a star is born, how life evolves, but it doesn't and perhaps cannot tell us why we are here or how we should live. Religion, philosophy, and art step into that space. They explore the human quest for significance, purpose, and value in a way that science does not. The two are not necessarily in conflict. They can be seen as different languages, attempting to describe different aspects of the human experience. Ultimately, whether you are a believer, an atheist, or an agnostic, you face the same fundamental questions that have haunted humanity since the beginning. Why are we here? How should we live a good life? What is our purpose? For the non-believer, the absence of gods doesn't make these questions disappear. Instead, it shifts the source of the answers. Meaning is no longer found in a pre-written divine plan or the promise of an eternal afterlife. It becomes a personal responsibility, a creative act. The focus moves from destiny to choice, from eternity to the preciousness of this present moment. The atheist and the agnostic must construct their own moral framework based on empathy, reason, and the consequences of their actions in the real world. Purpose isn't discovered. It's built day by day through relationships, through creativity, through the pursuit of knowledge, and through the effort to leave the world a slightly better place than they found it. Life's fragility makes it all the more valuable. So, as we look back at the countless beliefs that have guided humanity, a new question emerges. Perhaps the most important question isn't whether any particular religion is true or false. Perhaps the real question is what religion, in all its diverse and complex forms, reveals about us. It reflects our deepest hopes for a better world, our profound fears of the unknown and of our own mortality, and our relentless, unyielding curiosity to understand our place in the cosmos. It's a mirror held up to the human soul, showing a species that constantly searches, questions, and strives for meaning in a vast and mysterious universe. What we believe, or choose not to believe, says less about the heavens and more about the human heart.